This week, everybody, we have a beer from Skygazer Brewing Company, which is out of North Haven, Connecticut. Don't ask me where that is. I don't know. Today, we're having the Summer Shandy. Now, there is a very popular beer in Wisconsin called Summer Shandy. I'm assuming it's going to be really similar. A shandy, a radler, is when you just add like juice into a beer. I don't know if it always has to be lemon, like lemonade. It's very popular to make a radler by mixing lemonade into beer. Same with like a shandy. I think they're pretty they're pretty interchangeable. Nice, Libby. Connecticut. Of course. How could I be so silly? But yeah, this one from Skygazer. I've never heard of them before, but the can looks very pretty. The average rating is 3.8 over just over 1,000 ratings, 4.5%. And really, what better beer to have when I'm sitting in my air conditioned office and not out in the sun? Because holy, I'm not going to be out in the sun right now. I went out to water beforehand, and it was like oppressively hot outside. All right, let's get it cracked. Eric, Mango Cart is one of my favorite beers of all time. Probably because it's so easy to get. Like, you can get it everywhere. And it's always good. Very genuinely one of my favorite beers ever. Yeah, I mean, every beer once it's warm is not as good, though. Well, probably not every beer, but most beers. But yes, Mango Cart is definitely a fan favorite, I'll say. And wow, this beer looks so perfect. Oh, it looks gorgeous. Check it. Look at that one. Yeah, there is no description of this beer on Untappd, so we're going to have to write it ourselves. Hot beer? Don't you mean like hot yogurt, Libby? Isn't that the whole thing that you're into, or was that Beck? I don't remember. I try to block that from my memory, genuinely. What the heck? All right, let me get a photo. Looks so pretty. And let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Oh, it smells like lemon. I would hope so. Yeah, it's lemonade and beer. That's exactly what it is. I there's like nothing else to say other than it's lemonade and beer mixed together. It's a very thick lemon. Like, it's kind of a syrupy lemon flavor. It says it's made with real lemon juice, so it might not be lemon. Oh, it says blonde lager with lemonade. Yeah, that's what I thought. But it is refreshing. It is absolutely refreshing. And like a great summertime beer. It reminds me of like the syrupy flavor. It's a very bold lemon. It reminds me of limoncello, which we had a lot of when we were over in Italy. So I'd like to think I'm not an expert, but I'm definitely not a noob anymore when it comes to limoncello. I had an orange Kool-Aid soda. It tasted like orange Fanta. Yeah, that would be exactly what I would think orange Kool-Aid soda would taste like, phony. I feel like if High C was carbonated, it would taste like orange Fanta also. Now, I read your message as orange Kool-Aid cream soda, and I'm like, that sounds good. Like a dreamsicle soda? What did you try? last week at a work celebration, Libby. Was it a beer? You're gonna say like ecstasy or something. No. Caviar. Ooh, fancy. They put it in a paper bag like I got a 40 ounce. That's hilarious. Caviar on a chicken nugget? Oh my god. So I have an embarrassing story to tell about caviar. Um, when we were in New York City, um, we went to a French restaurant and they had a prefix menu, and one of the appetizer options was deviled eggs. And I love deviled eggs. So I was like, you know what, I'll do that. I wasn't feeling the best. I don't know if I was anxious or what, but I didn't eat a lot of my food, unfortunately. Actually that's not true. I did eat like probably 75% of my food. Anyways, I got deviled eggs, and then the guy asked me, "Oh, do you want caviar on that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And note, they did not list it on the menu with caviar. They didn't say, "Here's the upcharge for caviar." So what I assumed when the guy asked me that was that it always comes with caviar, but they always ask because if you don't want caviar, they're not going to waste it and put it on your eggs. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." Um, one, caviar and a deviled egg is weird because you don't really taste the caviar because it blends in with like egg white flavor. Um, they gave me 3 deviled eggs and they were huge. So 3 halves of a deviled egg. Which makes me wonder who got the other half of my other egg. Um, and I ate 2 of them. Genuinely, they were really bland. I didn't finish the third one. I did eat the caviar though, and then the caviar was $17 as an upcharge to my. Was it 17? I think it was 17. Um, to my deviled eggs, and I was very embarrassed because I'm like, really? At least I think, Eric, because I remember it was something where I was like, I genuinely felt bad, like when the bill came and like Niltiak and I were paying it, I was like, I feel bad that I ordered this and didn't even eat all of that. Um, Remember, this is Manhattan, Eric. Like, yeah, it's bad, Phony. It's really bad out. I should have tried it when we were over Narwhal. Um, No, it was not deviled ostrich eggs. Anyways, that was my embarrassing story about caviar. It's the only time I've ever had it. When we were on our cruise, we went to a French restaurant and they didn't have caviar. I would have been interested to try it. I should have tried it when we were in France somewhere, but it's just so expensive. If you said it's how it comes unless don't no, that's what I'm assuming, Libby. They did not say anything about it. And maybe it was on the menu somewhere, but I didn't see it. I don't know. Anyways, to those of you watching this beer review, there's my rant about caviar. Well, let's talk about this beer. It's so easy to drink. Like, I almost set it down and I'm like, no, I want another sip. It reminds me of a very sweet glass of lemonade. It's very interesting. I've never been able to replicate it, but there's 2 very distinctive flavors of lemonade that I have in my mind as like memories. Both of my grandmas would make lemonade like when we would go over for like family events, both like on both sides of the family. Both lemonades were incredibly different. One grandma made very sweet lemonade, and that was incredible. And the other grandma made very like, I don't want to say it was bitter lemonade, but it was almost more like oh, what do I want to compare it to? It was just not as sweet. And it was still like really good because it hit the spot when you're like out playing in the yard all day. But they were so vastly different, and I like I've not been able to find either of those flavors, but specifically my grandma that would make super sweet lemonade. This is kind of what that tastes like. Now it has the bubbles, it has the carbonation there. Um and it does taste a little bit like beer. You know, you get kind of the wheat aftertaste, like the lager aftertaste. They said this is a blonde ale, so I guess if I'm thinking it like trying to taste some of the malts, I suppose. Yeah, Libby, when Niltiak and I were actually we got it when we were in Geneva. Um, Narwhal wanted some French mustard, and we were gonna be in France, but we were in the south of France, and I'm like, well, I feel like if I'm gonna buy mustard, I should do it in Switzerland because it's like nestled into France. So we just got it at a grocery store. Like, it was like $2 for this like 8-ounce jar of like what chunky mustard? I don't know what you call it. Seeded mustard, whole grain. That's what it's called. Um, but I haven't tried it. I should have tried it when I was over Narwhal. But I should have bought way more. Like, I got a lot of food on our trip. I got like capers and balsamic vinegar and olive oil and wine and risotto and salt. I'm trying to think of the other stuff I bought. I got a couple spices. I got risotto. I think I got some paella mix. I don't know. I got a lot of food. Yeah, I was there for the convention, Eric. The congratulations you just got married convention. That was our first stop on our honeymoon. And it was like severe thunderstorm, so we were in a grocery store like sheltering from the storm, and I'm like, well, might as well shop, and that's when I got that mustard. Yeah. This is reminiscent of my grandma's sweet lemonade. Not quite as sweet, and it has this edge at the end of it, which is the alcohol. Man, now I really want her lemonade with like vodka in it. Wonder if any of my aunts or uncles ever did that. Mom, if you're in the chat. Literally started a Paris Things note just to put down the name of the mustard. I'm so serious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a big brand or not. Good luck, Libby. If you find it, you find it. Like I said, I got it in a Swiss grocery store, but they speak French there, so maybe. When are you going to Paris, Libby? In the fall. Cool. We're talking right now, trying to figure out if we're gonna end up going out to Boston again this fall or not for Caitlin's work. She's going for sure. I just don't know if I can go yet with my work schedule. But I would really like to do that again. I loved it out in Boston. And not just Boston. We'd go up to New Hampshire, and we were talking about maybe even going up to Maine for a little bit. But oh, I did really like Boston. That's cool, Libby. Mm. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted about this beer. The thing is, like, it's incredibly good, but it's also so simple and so easy to drink that I'm just kind of drinking it without thinking about it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just take another sip. Yeah, oh, I'll just take another sip, you know? It's just, it's incredibly refreshing, and it's drinkable, and it's a little nostalgic, honestly, I'll say. Now, I will compare it to the summer shandy that we have in Wisconsin from Leinenkugel's, incredibly popular summer shandy. I think a lot of people don't, at least in my circle, don't care for summer shandy that much anymore because it's really sweet. It's a great summertime beer. I think it's a little played up. I think you have to mix it with other stuff. Like, what people will do is they'll do half summer shandy, half something else. And that works, actually. Like, half summer shandy and like half of a wheat beer actually is very, very good. But actually that summer shandy, the one from Leinenkugel's, is lighter than this, and I would say even more like focused on being a crisp fruit beer, and this is like lemonade in a beer. For people who think that Leinie's Summer Shandy is sweet, this is even sweeter than that. Um, the other thing I can compare this to, and it's going to sound like I'm the biggest fan of Shandies, but I think I've just had a very good selection of really good ones, is there's another one from Wisconsin, from Potosi, Potosi Brewing Company, and I think theirs is called Steamboat Shandy, I think. I haven't had it in years, but I remember having it, and it was sweeter, like this, like a smoother sweetness than Leinie's Summer Shandy. I think that's what I would compare this to the most. Um, Not me, but you should really ask Grandma for her recipe. I think I will. And she's going to tell me it's just old country powdered lemonade that she puts like 3 pounds of sugar in or something. But no, I will. I will ask her for the recipe. Libby, we planning out the trip because we don't have a lot of time off left after the honeymoon. It seems like we would only have, if we're able to do this trip before she has to be in Boston for work, we would have 3 days. Because we'd get in late Friday and we would have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to do stuff. So I don't know if we would have the time to go to Vermont to add that into everywhere else we'd want to go to. If we had more time off, it would be an even bigger trip, but we don't. Because Niltiak used to live in New Hampshire, so she wants to go back and see friends and go to her favorite places. All right, Summer Shandy. I haven't even checked in the Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. From Skygazer. They have a pink lemonade version too. Well, that one sounds good. I want to try that one. Is pink lemonade actually different flavor? I know sometimes pink lemonade is raspberry lemonade, but I don't think it's actually. All right, let me write this review. Um hmm. All right. I think I have my review. Let me finish adding in the information. But Vermont in the fall. Yeah, and I mean we would be going like we'd be going a little early for fall. I think we'd be going the second week of September. So not quite leaf time yet. But potentially depending on how far north we go. I do want to plan a trip at some point up to like Maine and even go further into like Nova Scotia and go to like Halifax and all that. Like I think that would be really pretty. I don't know when. I know they do cruises up in there too, but I don't know when that would happen. I think it'd be really cool. All right. Here's how much beer I have left. It doesn't look as nice now in that camera. But here's what I have to say, everybody, about the Summer Shandy from Skygazer Brewing Company. This reminds me of my grandmother's lemonade in the best way. It's incredibly sweet and smooth, but matched with the nice crisp bubbles from a beer. Insanely refreshing on a hot day and so easy to drink. It goes down fast and finishes smooth and sweet. Yum. Except I misspelled yum. How do you misspell a 3-letter word? I don't know. I'm going to give this a 4.25 out of 5. And I said the flavor profile was crisp, smooth, lemony, citrusy, and light-bodied. So let's check it in. There we go. Untappd at home, level 66. Sweet. That, everybody, is beer number 695. $6.95. Check it, 5 away from 700. I got to figure out what I'm having for 700. I still have not decided that. But I at least at a minimum have 5 weeks. But we did just talk about potentially, we're going to be in Milwaukee in 2 weeks, potentially making it a little longer and go into a brewery or two. So I might be getting that 700 a little sooner. Potentially. But be sure to stick around. We're nearing that 700 mark. And thank you for joining me this week for another Blues Brews Reviews. What am I going to have next week? I don't know. Really, when I pick the beer I'm going to have, it's very dependent on what the weather is. And because it was 100 degrees, I skipped over all of the ones that I have that are a little older, and I picked this one because it's the hottest day of the year so far. And why not have the most summertime beer possible? Now, my weather app does say right now that it's raining, which it's not. And that it's 87. But next week, Monday, it's going to be 84 and sunny. Yay. That's okay. I like the summertime. I just wish it was a little cooler. We had like the perfect span of days over the last week where it was like 75. It was great. Anyways, I was saying thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune in next week for another new brew to review. My name is Blue. Cheers.